Just a quicker video here. A subscriber commented on one of the videos about looking for a way to do a frame channel where they would just have a solid piece of metal and be able to drill holes wherever they wanted. And as I started thinking about that, I thought that would be a great idea for being able to do a custom chassis and starting out with some type of a C-bend. So I found this material, and it is a, I guess you would call it more of a U channel than a C, because it is square at these corners. So I think that makes it a U. I think a C channel is curved in these corners. This is over a 1/16 of an inch thick. It's almost like an 18 gauge thickness. It's very, very strong, and it is very affordable. So this distance on the inside is a 1/2 inch. It's 5/8 on the outside, which makes it almost the exact same dimension as the C girder that you make, or the U girder that you make when you put two of the angle girders together. The only thing is, with this, you don't have the distortion that you do here. So this, because of the overlap, this edge does not stick out as far as the other edge does. So you get a little bit of a tip there, and it just creates a weird seam. So with this material, you don't have that. And the other thing that I figured out with this, and I think it's kind of cool, is because of the thickness of this. So I went ahead and I lined up two of these back to back, marked the rear, and then I went ahead and I used the Erector spacing for the springs. And those are spaced 4 inches on center. So I came in 1/4 of an inch. That's the way Erector did all of theirs. And then that wasn't going to work for my truck that I'm building. So I decided to come in 1/2 an inch. And then I went 4 inches off of that. And then I took my spacing to the front and I did a 4-inch spacing here. And then I realized that this stuff is thick enough that after I marked my holes, then I went ahead and I pre-drilled the holes with a number 29 bit. And then I went out to the toolbox in the garage and I got an 832 tap, and I went ahead and tapped these. So with this setup, I can go ahead and I can screw directly into the girder with the bolt. I don't need a nut on the back side. Now I am screwing a steel bolt into aluminum, so I got to keep in mind that I can't go crazy with how tight it is, but I just was playing with this because it's kind of my test pieces, and I cranked pretty hard on this frame rail, and it tightened up significantly. It did not strip out the hole. So it is possible to crank down pretty tight on these. And here in just a moment, I'll show you the other option that this would allow for. So now, if I flip this over, there are my two custom truck frame rails. And set that up on a front axle. that round, it's maybe not going to want to sit like I want it to. Go ahead and bolt those into place, and then I can come along and put my box on it. So I think that's going to work fantastic. So hopefully that'll give ideas. As far as design in the side here, you can put in anything you want, basically. Either cut it by hand, and what I did here is I just laid out the triangle cutouts with the holes like the 1926 style girders are. But this could also be cut if you have access to a laser cutter or to a CNC router. This could be designed really any way you wanted to. You could put any type of design into the frame rails. So what this material is, and I've got a long piece of it here. It's called aluminum trim channel, and it's built to put on the edge of plywood. So this is the 1/2 inch size. It's for 1/2 inch plywood. So a 1/2 inch piece of plywood will fit down in here. That's what it's sized for. They do have it in other sizes. So you can buy it for 3/16 plywood. You can buy it for 3/4 inch plywood. So the 3/4 inch is much beefier. If you were doing a heavy duty truck, you maybe would want to take a look at that. The distance or the measurement on the frame rail here is a 1/2 inch, which is what the Erector size is. So this is going to fit really well with the sizing. Still creates a little issue with the front bumper because the front bumper is exactly the same height. But if I notch out, cut in right here, and then take that part off, that would leave a tab sticking out that the bumper would fit over perfectly, or then the bumper would fit up behind that tab, and I think that would leave a decent look. Otherwise, you could also use this material to make a custom front and rear bumper, and that would work great as well. But it'll work with any of the Erector pieces. You can put the hole where you need to and make braces going across for the frame. So I'm really happy that the subscriber asked a question and made a comment about this, and I had remembered working with some material like this in the past, doing some woodworking projects. The other thing I was going to show you, if you want, you can still mount it like you would a regular Erector situation, where you just drill your holes out and then run your bolt through with a nut on the back side. Or what I have here, I have the hole in the aluminum threaded. I used a 3/8 bolt instead of a 1/4 inch, and then I put a Erector nut on the back side. So this creates a locking nut, basically a locking nut situation. So this is not going to come apart. So that's pretty neat as well. But again, very sturdy, much sturdier than the Erector girder system. So yeah, if you're doing a custom build or even a build where you want a sturdier frame, I think this might be a good answer. Thanks for watching. I wanted to add just a couple other little bits of information. I did go ahead and bolt the axles together, so that is going to work really slick. The purchase of this, where do you get it? I purchased it at a home supply store called Menards. It's a chain that's in a lot of the Midwest, I believe. It's also available at Home Depot. I believe at either store, you can get an 8-foot section of it for under $15. So out of an 8-foot section, even if you're building a big full-size truck and you need close to 24 inch, you get 2 full frames out of one piece of this. So I think bargain wise, that's a great deal for what you get. Now it's all done. Thank you for watching.